The Zwift Racing League is one of the toughest and most popular racing series in Zwift. Thousands of riders from around the world join teams and go head-to-head against one of each other's every single week during the fall, winter, and spring seasons. Now, this is my third season doing ZRL, and we are lucky enough as riders to be able to submit the 6th race of this year's ZRL season. Now, this route will be featured on October 15th, and wink wink, my birthday is the 19th, and I'll be turning 25, so Zwift, WTRL, if you want to give me a little present, that'd be great. Pick my route, it's beautiful. The best. Anyways, I'd like to present the route that has it all, what I call Captain Hook. Now, while I was creating this route, there were a few things that I had to consider. Obviously, you have to have an exciting race experiment, and I think this checks the boxes for that. Another thing that you had to think about are the categories that are going to be racing in it. There's going to be A riders, there's going to be B riders, there's going to be C riders, and D riders. The A riders are going to have more strategy along these rides. So, it's a strategic ending. Love it. Great. For the D riders, it's not too tough. It's not a huge climb that they have to do and complete, and they're going to struggle on it for hours. It's not like that. It's easy enough for the Ds to have a good finish spot and also a good ride, while also making it competitive for the A riders. Not only that, but this also features some of the new routes that Zwift has implemented into their game. We will be seeing 2 KOMs, a huge descent, a possible breakaway finish. Now, we start this race in the heart of downtown Watopia and turn onto the Ocean Boulevard. A pretty simple start and plenty of time for riders to get settled into the pace, warm up their legs, and get their heart going. Now, around the 3.4 kilometer mark, we emerge from the water tunnel and take a left towards the epic KOM. Now, I remember this short, steep climb from last year, and while I hated it at the time, I did enjoy the toughness but quickness of it and thought it would be a perfect start to this race. There's no doubt in my mind that the peloton will split between the faster and slower riders into at least 2 groups. Now, I consider this hill the perfect start because you will use your legs, you will get your heart rate to go up, but there's more to it. Instead of turning left like last season, we take a right towards the jungle, and this is where we could possibly see another split. There's a solid 3% incline for about 800 meters, which can really hurt anyone who went 110% in the front group. Now, once the incline ends, I feel like we could see a similar effect to the city line climb last year on the Makarai Islands. The front group could really slow from the hill and try to take the downhill slow, while the chasing group is able to put down some power and catch up. Now, for the next 4 kilometers, you will be doing very small rollers and given the ability to rest your legs and get your breath back for the next part of the race. After you finish those 4 kilometers, you turn left and onto my new favorite route on Zwift, a solid 4-minute Mayan mountainside KOM, where you will be getting your first power-up of the race once you get to the KOM banner. Now, this climb is tough because it's really a mask to the second climb that is right after it. The riders that go super hard up this 4-minute climb could seriously ruin their own race if they push too hard. That's why this hill is perfect. Once you get to the top, I think the Aero, Draft Boost, and Feather Up power-up should be available to the rider. You'll continue on this route and hit the Itza KOM, which is a 3.8 kilometer climb that takes no prisoners. You start off with some serious rollers and then gets to a brutal finish. A peak of 11% towards the top, and while staying around 5 to 6%, this will really show who has saved their legs until this moment. Now, this is where I'm having some issues with the route. You could 100% end this race on top of the climb. 20.4 kilometers is the point where the 200 meter mark is for the sprint. But the route flattens out and becomes a good spot to finish. Someone could try to break away at the 11% spot, but get caught lacking with not enough energy as they think that the -4% spot right before the finish line is safe, and they end up losing the race because they didn't expect someone to be able to catch them in that final 200 meters. So that could be the first finish. Now, if you want a little more pain and a bit better of a sprint finish, you'll continue the race and have a coastal finish. With the race continuing, the top KOM banner should give an arrow or draft boost for a quick, speedy descent or a great shot at winning the race in a sprint. Down the big hill and onto the coast, where there's plenty of time to catch your breath and also gear up for the final sprint. While there is a small chance that you could push the power on the small climb towards the finish for a breakaway, I do think a sprint finish makes more sense. Now, once you go through this cool little tunnel, you get to the Sasquatch sprint. About a 30-second sprint that is going to be fast, it's not easy, and it starts on a -2% incline. It goes down to -1, 2, 0, and then pushes up a little bit into the 1 and 2%. This sprint finish goes right past the Pumped Pancake Cafe and goes right into a finish we've seen before, but on the other side. Overall, I would rate this route one of my favorites, and riding it was actually very enjoyable, knowing where certain places could happen. The thing about this race is that it's exciting. There's a lot of things that could happen. There's important big climbs that make you stretch your legs a little too far, or you have plenty of time to kind of warm your legs up in the beginning. You have plenty of time to warm your legs up through the middle of the race towards the final 2 KOMs. It's honestly a very engaging race, and I think a lot of racers are going to have a lot of fun on this. So I would hope you guys take a serious consideration in picking this course. I would love to see this just in general to be a route to race on Zwift, and especially during something as big as ZRL would be outstanding to me. So thank you all for watching, and let me know what you think about this course.